I'm Lisa Cochrum, and I am a teacher at Saratoga High School. When I was in high school biology at 16, I absolutely loved the class, and I absolutely loved my teacher, and it was hands down my favorite class in all of high school. So I came home after like 2 weeks of class and said, Mom, I want to be a high school biology teacher. And she laughed. I mean, what do you know at 16? She's like, yeah. So my senior year, I said the same thing. She goes, okay, yeah, so be a bio major. So I was. And halfway through college, I tried some research. My dad's a researcher up at UCSF, and I kind of dabbled with that and tried a couple of different things, and none of it was a good fit. And I came home and said, I want to be a high school biology teacher, and it just kind of stuck. I come from a generation of 5 generations of biology teachers on my mom's side. My dad's a scientist. It seemed like I was genetically designed to do this. I think especially in today's world, there's a bunch of jobs we don't even know about right now. So pick a subject that's interesting to you and that you've got some skills with. It may not be where you end up. You may be a bio major and end up as a chemist, and that's okay. Or you may end up in a completely new field we haven't even heard of in genetics. Pursue something that you're passionate about, because you're going to spend a lot of time putting hours into college, especially into a lab class. Got to be something you enjoy, because if you're going to go to a dissection lab for 5 hours, you better enjoy it. I think with our new biology book, it's been extremely helpful. Our old bio book didn't even really talk about genetic engineering. So now we've got a book that talks about CRISPR and talks about what you can do with biotech. And so we use our book, but I also bring in movies, I bring in articles, I have them read a bunch of outside things that are going on currently. I got to visit Genentech a couple years ago. I have a friend who works there, runs a lab there, and that was extremely helpful. And so I try to tell those stories in class. Then I have another friend who designs robots that actually does the genetic engineering for Genentech. It was fun to see his robot there. And so I try to include, just kind of stories from the community, whether it's an engineer or whether it's somebody from Genentech, and how we all are really working together in today's world to bring about changes in biology or chemistry or medicine or whatnot. I don't think 5 years ago we would have had a clue of where we would be today. My hope, see if I can do this without getting choked up. My hope is that CRISPR brings about an end to genetic diseases, and that we see things like sickle cell anemia and cystic fibrosis end. That will be the greatest thing to happen in biology, probably since the discovery of penicillin and the use of it. There are challenges, and one of the things I always have my students do is read articles and talk about what's possible with the technology and what we should do with the technology. I think we are on the precipice of great, amazing discoveries where we're going to, save thousands of people, but we're also on the edge of making some decisions, if done poorly, could really lead us down a path of the good and the bad. The good being a perceived good, somebody's ideal in what a human is or what health is, and a bad of what it's not. And then the elevation of good and the denigration of people who are perceived to be of a bad characteristic. That terrifies me. I know the woman who first discovered CRISPR has a nightmare, a reoccurring nightmare, where this man is in her office, in her lab, and says, tell me about CRISPR. And as he turns around, she realizes it's Adolf Hitler. So when we talk about technology, it's got this potential for greatness, and it's got this potential to be misused in the wrong hands for the wrong purposes. And it doesn't have to be Adolf Hitler. It simply has to be a society that says people that have this characteristic are good, people who have this characteristic are bad, and that terrifies me. So my hope is by talking about ethics and morality, by having our students read, by having them talk to their parents and other adults in their life, that they will take that seriously, and we will make good decisions. This was me at 16. I had no clue what I wanted to do. No idea. And it's okay to not have any idea. It's okay to figure it out at 16 or 18 or 22 or 30. Some people do not figure out what they really want to do until 30, and that is okay. Miss Thompson and I went to Madagascar. We got to sit outside with the ringtail lemurs, and we sat in the sun just like they did, and pretty soon they came up and were like checking us out and smelling us, and one baby like climbed in my lap. It was so fun, and Miss Thompson and I cried. We were so happy. That was one of my favorite animal moments of all time.